While Patrick Star might not be a very good friend to really anybody, that still doesn't change the fact that there are several instances of SpongeBob being an awful friend to him. And there are few episodes that are able to back up that statement more than Porous Pockets. While having their typical weekend excursions in Jellyfish Fields, Patrick and SpongeBob stumble upon a clam who appears to be choking on something. While SpongeBob looks around completely flustered with no idea what to do, Patrick comes equipped with the knowledge of how to stop a clam from choking. After Patrick tries his technique and begins running away because he thinks it didn't work, the clam spits out a giant pearl. And of course, SpongeBob and Patrick, having the combined IQ of a head of lettuce, mistake it for a volleyball. They then head on down to the activity center to play with the volleyball, and then a man approaches them and sees the pearl that is worth tons of money and offers them boatloads of cash. Said fish purchases the volleyball from SpongeBob and Patrick by sending an entire string of trucks full of money to SpongeBob's pineapple. And even though it was initially Patrick who was able to get the pearl out of the clam and all the money should be his, for some reason SpongeBob claims it all as his own. As SpongeBob and Patrick go about town doing new activities they couldn't previously do before because they were broke, SpongeBob runs into several people who are very interested in his newfound money. And even though SpongeBob is firmly aware that all these fish just want to be his friend for his cash, he seems to not give a single fuck. SpongeBob then buys a giant mansion and starts giving out money to all his so-called new friends without a second thought. He seems to not understand the idea that money is a finite asset. And at this point, not only has SpongeBob stolen all of Patrick's money and given it to a bunch of strangers for his own benefit, he managed to not even put Patrick on the guest list, and Patrick has to sneak past security to even get inside of SpongeBob's house. Upon entering SpongeBob's house, Patrick is not only treated like a second-class citizen by SpongeBob's new so-called friends, but by SpongeBob himself. He then kicks Patrick out of his house because Patrick is not dignified to be around his high society new friends. But alas, immediately after this happens, SpongeBob quite hilariously goes to look for more money to give to his new friends and realizes that he's out. He then walks out of his safe to find that his friends have already left. In fact, the only person left in SpongeBob's whole house seems to be Mr. Krabs' leeching ass telling him to not be late for work tomorrow. And listen, I've already previously done a rant on Mr. Krabs, but another one is definitely in the works because I'm sick of this motherfucker's bullshit. You have a lot of fucking audacity acting like this, Mr. Krabs, when SpongeBob probably gave you more money in this one episode than you've ever paid him. And of course, Patrick immediately accepts SpongeBob's apology because this is a toxic friendship with no morals to it. What I need to know is this: where is everybody in Bikini Bottom getting their money from? Because nobody there seems to do anything that would equate them having money, yet they live these extremely lavish lifestyles where they never have to worry about their finances. SpongeBob, for example, who spent his first few years working at the Krusty Krab, actively paying Mr. Krabs so he could work there, only gets paid about 5 cents per year. Yet he's able to afford a 2-story pineapple and take care of his pet. Squidward, who seems to make more money than SpongeBob at the Krusty Krab, still makes less than minimum wage and is able to afford a single-income household where he has access to high-end art supplies which he uses on a daily basis. Not to mention the plethora of money that Squidward funnels into his music, as well as the countless number of times that Squidward's house has been destroyed and then he has had to pay for it to be repaired. Plankton, who has not had a proper customer in years and makes absolutely no profit from the Chum Bucket, is able to somehow keep the Chum Bucket running and pay the mortgage on it. Not to mention all of the money, the probably millions upon millions of dollars that Plankton is investing into his scientific research. The only person in Bikini Bottom who seems remotely affected by their lack of income is Patrick, who does not have any form of job, yet is still somehow able to feed and care for himself all the same, even if his house isn't very lavish. And this all brings to point my theory that Bikini Bottom is a successful, thriving socialist nation where money is simply obsolete. The citizens of Bikini Bottom are allowed to go get jobs and get excess income if they wish, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they are still going to be clothed, bathed, fed, and homed no matter what their income is. Sheldon, I don't know who the fuck at some point told you that you were like hot shit, or that you were a beggar who had the right or the ability to be choosing, but they lied to you. Because, sir, you are not in any kind of position to be burning bridges, or trying to play any role really other than the microscopic booger-colored shit stain you are. First of all, the fact that you even tried to replace Karen in the first place is really flabbergasting to me because, sir, take a moment and really think where you would be in life without this woman right here. She is the thread that's been holding together your entire flop-ass excuse for a restaurant since 1999. How are you gonna upgrade an upgrader? As a matter of fact, you'll never even recreate her. And you really mean to tell me that you thought for even a second that this whack-ass bitch right here was gonna do the trick? Motherfucker, she is a trick. A cheap-looking ass Dell desktop that looks like you bought it refurbished from eBay. This hoe doesn't even have an ARM or a flexibility setting, and half her memory is just clogged up with system updates and uninstallable apps. She is fake ass, fake titties, and nothing else. This bitch can't walk, talk, or rock even half as good as the bitch she's trying to be. She isn't Angelina or Jennifer. As a matter of fact, she's not even Gwyneth Paltrow. She's the star of the downstairs computer lab that nobody wants to type their fucking essay in. Let me ask you, how the fuck do you manage to literally program women? Cause Neptune knows no actual woman is gonna be willing to deal with your half-inch ass, and still you somehow find a way to make them incompatible with you. Sheldon, you are an incompetent, inbred, internally irredeemable, inconsiderate, insidious infection of an underwater pest. And that's why nobody fucks with you at the end of the day. Because you are a fucking loser. Because if Axe made a loser-scented cologne, it would reek of your nasty ass self. Broke ass motherfucker, no income coming in, no dick coming in either, as a matter of fact, because your micro penis can't even be visible with a 300% zoom. No status, no respect, no dignity, no formula having ass piece of shit. You should be grateful this computer even still wants your ass, cause she, you, and I all know that she could do better without even a single change in coding. Karen, do what you should have done 23 years ago and dump this petri dish sample fuckface. Half his goddamn body should have just stayed laying in that street and let a goddamn semi-truck run his ass over. Worthless, low dexterity, diarrhea-colored fuck. Several people were requesting that I take a stance on the card episode of SpongeBob, I guess presuming that I would defend SpongeBob in this episode because people seem to think Patrick was being a dick, and I completely disagree. This episode begins with SpongeBob going to the bank because the new Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy trading card is coming out, and instead of just getting his shit and getting out, he holds up the entire line because he isn't getting the dollar bill that he wants. This bank teller, with the patience of a saint, gives SpongeBob 2 different dollar bills, one of which SpongeBob thinks is too ripped, the second of which he thinks smells weird, and for some reason his stupid ass has convinced himself that Mermaid Man is directly going to be receiving the dollar bill that he pays with. SpongeBob then turns around and starts antagonizing the other customers, telling him to hurry up by stating he will not leave the bank until he gets an adequate dollar bill, to which they rightfully kick his ass out. SpongeBob then makes his way to the comic book store to see Patrick there, intending to buy a counting book so he can learn to count to 100. And after this obviously commissioned fish convinces SpongeBob to spend all of his money on different packs of the Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy cards so that he could get card number 54, which is pretty much just this cheap motion card that you could probably buy at Fred Meyer's for like $3. He runs out of money and is empty-handed because he can't find the card that he's searching for. Patrick then decides to give up on counting and buys his own pack of the trading cards. To SpongeBob's dismay, Patrick gets the card. And let's be very clear, Patrick buys this card with his own money. He can do whatever he wants with the card and does not owe shit to SpongeBob. But of course, because of the fact that Patrick is being the reasonable person in this episode, he does not give a fuck about the stupid card and says he'll give it to SpongeBob. That is, after he does some chores with it. We actually get this pretty hilarious sequence of scenes where Patrick is seen opening the door of his house with the card and grilling with it. He also uses it as a plate and covers it in cheese. Eventually, the card gets destroyed by Patrick's shenanigans, and SpongeBob starts throwing a tantrum about it. And we get this scene of SpongeBob crying bloody mercy because he can't have his fucking trading card. But luckily for SpongeBob, Patrick happens to have gotten 4 more of the same card in the same exact pack. He then is so gracious to give SpongeBob all 4 of them. And before you want to accuse me of being too lenient on Patrick in this episode, let me remind you of the fact that SpongeBob spent the entire day pulling pranks on people, including this really fucking mean one he did to Squidward, where he crushes Squidward's dreams in order to get Squidward to come to the Krusty Krab and work his 9-to-5 shift he doesn't want to work. The same people defending SpongeBob saying it was just a prank will get on Patrick's ass for his prank. Patrick did absolutely nothing wrong in this episode. Hey, dick sucker, I bet you thought you'd never see your face next to mine. You thought I forgot about you? I could see how you may think that, considering you're the most irrelevant bitch to ever trek through the streets of Bikini Bottom. But no, I didn't forget. I just haven't gotten to you yet because I've simply had actual fish to fry, not fucking cucumbers. Let alone nasty-ass, unwashed, rotten, spotted cucumbers with fucking sweet tart gummy rope lips, stupid-ass fucking bitch. You can't even think straight because you got those goddamn glasses squeezing your fucking cranium so bad you're getting bruises on either side of your skull. I wouldn't chop your musty ass up and put you in a goddamn salad, you stupid motherfucker. As a matter of fact, let me get in on this little Q&A session you're having here, Kevin the CQ cum bitch, because who the fuck do you think you are? You really think you're that kind of girl? You think you're that fucking cucumber just because you got all these little stands down here, these little fucking crypto investment bitches who haven't washed their fucking underwear in 7 goddamn weeks? Ho ass motherfucker, you should be grateful. This is the only person in your entire fan army who has bathed in the last calendar year. Follow-up question, to quote Sarah Bareilles, who the fuck died and made you king of anything? How in the 9 hell did your ass ever even become leader of the jelly spotters? Your ass can't catch jellyfish. How you the leader of the jelly spot? I didn't see you catch one fucking jellyfish this whole episode. All your ass did is get stung. Sad ass bastard. The fucking jellyfish catch you more than you catch them. You'd think with your bum ass crown already slipping more than me playing Sherbertland and Mario Kart, you'd have the common decency to respect your own fucking fans. Fucking pathetic. You thought you were all big and bad just because you had this little squad of fucking anchovies behind you? Motherfucker, your own crew don't fuck with you! Bitch, they uncircumcised your unpickled ass and didn't even bother to patch you up afterwards. And gave the crown to its rightful owner. Oh yeah, and while I'm here, don't you motherfuckers think you're getting out of here without a goddamn side hook. You pussy ass bitches wanna act all elite like you're part of the cool kids club, but when it's time for dinner, your ass is running to the fucking Krusty Krab for SpongeBob to whip you up some fucking edible food. Cause God knows Kevin's ass isn't providing it. Fucking weirdo Jeffrey Dahmer ass locking people up down here. I'm gonna fucking catch you and throw that ass in jail. You are the singular reason this is only the second most insufferable animated Kevin. Ugly ass piece of shit, all freaked out by this horny jellyfish, as if this isn't the most action you'll get in your entire putrid little life. Fuck you, Kevin.